Michael Jackson was the king of pop, but he also had an extremely deep spiritual side.
He did. Rabbi Shmuley was once Jackson's closest spiritual advisor. He's on the phone with us live from Iceland. Rabbi Shmuley, can you hear us?
Hi, Rabbi Shmuley.
Hi, Hoda. Hi, Kathy Lee. How are you guys?
Great. Tell us about, just so we can lay the groundwork, how well you knew Michael Jackson.
Well, I knew Michael for 2 years. I tried my best to help him rejuvenate his life, resuscitate his spirit. You know, when I met him in the summer of '99, he really was burned out. I think he suffered from a sense of purposelessness. Mm-hmm. You know, when you achieve all your dreams at so early an age and you don't feel that you're consecrating your fame to something higher than yourself, mm-hmm. I think you become a burden to yourself. And Michael really couldn't even motivate himself to finish his album, Invincible, that he was working on at the time. So what I wanted to do was reconnect him to the basics of life that lead to a healthy and prosperous existence. Yes. Michael was once super close to his family. He always, in my presence, he always called his mother Catherine the Saint. He was close to his brothers. So by the time I met him, he had lost that strong family bond. He was once a Jehovah's Witness. He used to go on missionizing every Sunday. Mm-hmm. He would sell the Watchtower magazine. This is after Thriller. He was the biggest star in the world. He told me he used to put on a disguise. That's how important missionary work was to him. But by the time I met him, he was disconnected from the Jehovah's Witnesses church. He also didn't have a normal life. I mean, he was staying up the entire night, sleeping during the day. The kids, they were all recluses living at Neverland. And I wanted him just to rehabilitate his life through normality.
You know, Rabbi,
I tell you,
Rabbi
that was one of his great fears. He was afraid of being normal. You see, Michael believed that you got attention by being different. Mm-hmm. And he felt that I was demystifying him. We went to lecture at Oxford University together about a children's Bill of Rights. We did a lecture at Carnegie Hall together. But more than anything else, we sat down and we recorded 40 hours of very intimate conversations about, you know, the side of Michael that no one got to see. He was a profound man. He was an insightful man. But unfortunately, people just saw the caricature of Wacko Jacko.
Hey, you know what, Rabbi Shmuley, this is the thing Kath and I were talking about in the makeup room. This is the quote that he gave you. We're just going to read it real quick. Yeah. I think all my success and fame, and I've wanted it because I wanted to be loved. That's all. That's the real truth. I wanted people to love me, truly love me, because I never really felt loved. I said, I know I have the ability. Maybe if I sharpened my craft, maybe people would love me more.
That is so heartbreaking.
That is heartbreaking.
Because I could believe his mother especially loved him very much. Yeah. What do you think of that, Rabbi?
But you see, but Michael always wanted his father's love and approval.
There you go, the father.
And he always felt that he had been made into a performer at so young an age that he was robbed of his childhood. It was one of the reasons that he gravitated toward children. He was envious of their playfulness. He was envious of their lack of responsibility. He felt that a child had a right to be carefree. And he felt that his father had robbed him of it. And I'll never forget that I said to him, you know, Michael, there's two levels in our relationship with our parents. One is we forgive them for the mistakes they made because they're all human, but the other is that we cease to judge them. I said, your father was an African-American man who was raising 9 kids in Gary, Indiana. He had very little money, and he wanted to rescue you from that. So he made you perform, and he may have made many mistakes, but you can't really judge him. And I'll never forget, in one of the most moving moments that I was recalling yesterday in the wake of this shocking news of his passing, we were driving down to Oxford University for this big speech, and I said to Michael, your words will ring hollow unless you live it. He said, how? I said, you got to call your father, you got to tell him that you love him. And all of us were sitting in the car, we were amazed. He picked up the phone, he called Las Vegas, he reached his father, Joe, and he said, I'm speaking about you tonight. And his father got a little bit alarmed. He thought, you know, are you going to say something bad again? And Michael said, I'm going to tell the whole world how much I love you. And it was the most beautiful speech he ever gave.
Rabbi Shmuley, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you,
Rabbi. Such perspective.
He's
so good.
Incredible.